Resident Evil 4 Remake is only weeks away, but there are still so many questions to answer about Capcom's ambitious remake.
Who the hell are you?
Thankfully, I got the chance to see about 20 minutes of gameplay which gave me a glimpse into the lake area, the castle, and the iconic Krauser knife fight. Here are 11 new things I learned about the game. Knife parry galore. Chainsaws aren't the only thing Leon can deflect with his trusty knife now. In fact, from the gameplay I saw, you'll be able to parry just about anything with your knife. Whether it's torches thrown at you, arrows, or even the nasty tentacle claw from head-erupted parasites. Leon's knife has been given a hefty upgrade in functionality, but of course, not without some compromises. Unlike the original, the knife now has a durability bar, akin to Resident Evil 2 Remake's take on the knife. So while the extra versatility adds more variety to Resident Evil 4's combat formula, it's not without some resource management considerations. Additionally, Leon now has the ability to evade fatal blows, giving the player a split-second prompt to dodge attacks like the GARRADOR's enormous claws. Expanded exploration. While the original Resident Evil 4 was rather linear in its presentation, at least by Resident Evil standards that is, the remake is taking a more expanded approach, giving the player more space to wander and explore areas off the beaten path. More notably, the freedom to explore by motorboat. In the original, driving the motorboat was limited to the Del Lago boss fight. Otherwise, using the motorboat prompted a load screen between areas. This time, however, you'll be able to control the motorboat freely, traversing the watery depths of caverns and exploring other areas entirely. Many of these areas seem to be gated off, but can be accessed by solving small puzzles similar to the insignia puzzle seen only once outside the village church in the original. An additional detail I noticed during these motorboat segments is that the prompt to ready spears exists beyond the Del Lago boss fight, leading me to speculate that there are more enemies to fight in the water than we've been shown. New requests. A staple of the original was the Blue Medallion side quest, where players could scout out and shoot blue medallions hidden in the environment to unlock special weapons to purchase from the merchant. This time around, the medallions aren't the only things you'll be hunting for. Leon will now find a multitude of requests, such as finding a golden egg and selling it to the merchant. In an interview that I did with the Capcom team, they couldn't share what other requests there will be, but they assured me that there will be a variety beyond just shooting medallions and hunting for eggs. Storage. New to Resident Evil 4 Remake is the addition of storage, a staple in many other installments in the franchise, but omitted from the original RE4. Whenever Leon visits a typewriter, the player can now store their items using a storage option. This is significant considering that if you ran out of room in your case in the original, you'd have to sell or abandon those items, which sometimes meant parting ways with weapons too. I suspect the implementation of storage came in part with the addition of crafting, as players will now be collecting a lot more items in order to make herbs, ammunition, etc. And this is sure to lead to a cluttered and overstuffed inventory quickly. Case customization and charms. I loved nothing more than spending an exhausting amount of time organizing my inventory in the original game, which is why this new addition is a good one. Players can now change the physical appearance of their case. It's a small but considered touch that acknowledges the importance of the game system. I was only given a peek at two of the case styles, a traditional silver metal and a more sleek black exterior. While not confirmed, I can only imagine that there will be many more options to unlock. The exterior of the case isn't the only customizable addition. Leon can now attach up to 3 charms to the case, each one with their own gameplay perk. I was shown a chicken charm which granted the player 100% health when eating an egg. Now, Capcom told me that these charms are unlocked by playing a mini-game, but the details of that game were not disclosed. Could it be a replacement for the figures you unlocked from the shooting gallery minigame in the original? Time will tell. PLAGA can now attach themselves to the ceiling. Yes, you heard that right. The already terrifying PLAGA that erupts from cultists' head can now leap into the air and attach to the ceiling, which is utterly terrifying. This, I think, is a welcome addition considering the amount of combat versatility that Leon now has with the ability to sneak as well as parry attacks. So seeing this terrifying display is only welcome considering how much more Leon can now do in combat compared to the original. Ashley Graham. Among the many overhauls seen so far in Resident Evil 4 Remake, one of the most interesting has, of course, been Ashley Graham herself. And based on the 8 minutes of gameplay I saw with her, she's been significantly reworked in some inspiring ways. Most notable is the lack of a health bar. No longer will the player have to monitor her health, stop the game to give her herbs, or worry about upgrading it along the way. Instead, when Ashley is injured, she'll become incapacitated, requiring the player to get her back to her feet by interacting with her. Now, considering these changes, of course, I had to ask Capcom whether or not you will be ordering Ashley to hide in a dumpster, but they confirmed that that will no longer be the case, emphasizing that it's unkind to treat the character that way. Another change is how Ashley is commanded. The player now has 2 basic options for Ashley, which are either to give Leon some space while in a fight or to stick close to him.
Give me space!
Okay.
This is a welcome change as the commands feel much more organic and natural than in the original, which were just simply wait or follow me. Some things are best unchanged. While there's a considerable amount of tweaks and changes, some areas appear nearly identical to the original. Notably, the entrance to the castle. Making your way into the castle, taking out cultists armed with bowguns, and dodging an onslaught of flaming cannonballs seems almost unchanged from the original. But not without some small upgrades, that is, including the ability to freely fire a cannon at other catapults, enemies, and of course, the main entrance gate. New weapons, bolt thrower. Joining the arsenal is a bolt thrower. I only got to see it in action once during the gameplay, but it was used to launch a proximity mine in the ground before exploding and knocking several enemies back. Considering the new crafting mechanics, I speculate there will be a variety of ammo types to make for the bolt thrower, which is reminiscent of Resident Evil Code Veronica's bowgun. Is this a nod to Code Veronica? Probably not, but that doesn't stop me from convincing myself it is. The GARRADOR fight. There are many iconic enemy encounters from the original Resident Evil 4, but few are as embedded in my brain as deeply as the first run-in you have with the blind and unwavering beast that is the GARRADOR. It was a claustrophobic dance of tiptoeing around the monstrous brute who could only track you by sound. In the remake, Capcom has upped the ante by making the arena in which you fight it even smaller, and with the addition of chains that dangle from the ceiling, forcing Leon to maneuver around them to avoid making sounds and giving away his position. This new take on the fight was also one of the first times I got to see the benefit of the newly added stealth mechanic, which showed Leon sneaking up and stabbing the beast in its back. The Krauser knife fight. Quick time events are officially a thing of the past. Yes, that's right. The original testosterone-induced action movie knife fight executed solely with quick time events has been overhauled to a full-fledged, real-time fight sequence. In the short clip I was shown, the game's knife parrying mechanics and split-second evade prompts were on full display while duking it out with Jack Krauser. While I'll always have an affinity for the original QTE knife fight, the one in the remake still manages to look totally badass. Also, it appears the conversation between Leon and Krauser has been fleshed out more, with Leon calling out Operation Javier. Could this be more details that explain Krauser's supposed death that happened 2 years prior? We shall see. And there you have it. After all, it's only a few weeks until Resident Evil 4 Remake finally comes out and we get to have some of these questions answered. With that said, stick here at GameSpot for the review when it comes out. Alright, thanks for watching. Till next time, see ya.